Welcome to Evolve Your Life, the podcast where values meet vision, ambition meets alignment, and family fuels your purpose. I'm Dr. Stefanie Ascher, chiropractor, entrepreneur, homeschool mom, cancer warrior, and your go-to girl for building harmony in every area of life. Around here, women step into living fully and authentically, and we believe you are capable and worthy of it all. So grab your coffee, get cozy, and let's evolve your life together. Welcome back to Evolve Your Life. Today's episode is very special. We have our first guest on the episode, my amazing husband, Steve, my partner in all things in life, in business, in parenting, and in HYROX mixed doubles. And today's episode is behind the scenes of our first HYROX competition. So we competed in HYROX just a few days ago. So we are about 3 days out from our first mixed doubles competition. And today we are going to walk you through it, the prep, the competition itself, and how we're doing after, some of our takeaways. But I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today for the first time. And let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
So with the race, I would say we didn't fully know what we were walking into.
Not at all. Not at all. It was, we were underprepared. And it was harder than expected, for sure.
Yeah. Before we get into the race itself, how did we decide to do this? And what made you say yes to doing it in the first place? It came up around Thanksgiving time.
You had seen someone, no, it was when Chicago Worlds happened. So I think end of the year. And I think one of your buddies did it. And I don't think there was really much talked about with it. I think it kind of just, it just happened. I don't think we really had a good reason for it.
We just kind of got a wild hair and we saw videos. And then we were like, let's do this. Why not? Right?
That was it.
And I think that's something that's really cool about us, especially, is we really don't overanalyze decisions. If we see something we want to do, we just dive all in. We don't really question if we're ready, if we're capable. If we just decide that we want something, we go after it full force.
I think we saw, did we even see Miami at that point? Or we just thought we wanted to do one?
We just wanted to do one, and it was Thanksgiving Day because we were at my parents' house, and we started watching videos, and then we started looking up locations, and then we ended up seeing one in Miami, and it was far enough out that we thought that would give us enough time for prep, so we decided to do that one.
Yeah.
When we signed up, what did you think it was going to be like?
Oh, I think we figured we had enough time to get ready for any of it. So I think watching Instagram and TikToks of it, they made it look easy. And I think just running enough was going to be able to do that. But it was a whole different type of workout as a whole.
So what did your training look like?
Leading up to it, March was roughly 150 miles of running and then just kind of gym bro workouts, which was totally not the right way to do it. Before that, we had the half marathon. So leading up to that, I was running 4 or 5 times a week, 25 miles a week, thinking that the running would be the main portion of that. So it would be enough. Again, not really training specifically for the HYROX, which we'll need to do for the next one.
Yes. I will touch on my training a little bit. Before we do that, though, let's walk them through what the HYROX actually is. So HYROX stands for Hybrid Rockstar, which I actually just found out today because somebody asked me and I had no idea, but it is a hybrid workout of running and exercises. So we will dive into the full race breakdown because I want to touch on each event a little bit, but it is a combination of running and strength-based and functional movement type exercises. So for me, I barely ran. I ran a 5K in February. It was on Valentine's Day. So I ran a 5K in February. I had run maybe 3 to 5 times to prepare for that 5K. I ran that with my 7-year-old. And I would say in general, I was maybe running 1 or 2 times a week. And I was working out my normal workouts, which were probably 3 to 4 times a week. So that I really stuck to what my normal was, especially with strength training. I work out because I love to work out. And so I would say that my prep and training was just my normal workouts because I love to exercise. It helps me feel good mentally and physically. So I would say that I was still just training for life. I wasn't training for this event, which I will do different next time. But just for some background, we are also very different levels of athleticism across the board. You were a professional athlete. So for those of you who people who probably don't know your story, do you want to talk about your baseball background a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah. I mean, I played baseball my entire life and then played professionally for 4 years with the Rays and Rockies. After that, got into running big time and just lifting again, lifestyle wise. But this whole entire build up to the HYROX, we learn now that it is a whole different type of workout and focus that you have to do for sure.
Yeah. And you have always been an athlete. And then ever since you have stayed very athletic, you really prioritize movement more than anyone that I know personally at all. You are a very dedicated athlete. So for you, motivation is never a factor. It's always dedication, which is so inspiring and really inspiring to me. There have been so many days where I will be laying in bed reading a book at night and Steve's out in the garage crushing a workout or a run. And I'm like, okay, I can get out there and do something. So I think, especially if you are doing doubles, especially with your partner, having a partner who is focused on dedication over motivation is the most inspiring quality that you could have with somebody in your life across the board, whether it's for physical fitness, whether it's for other life goals. That is so important. And that was huge for me, just for me to stay consistent. And even before we decided to do the HYROX, you were doing a hybrid athlete training program. So you were running and working out a lot. I believe that was a
I think it was
3 month
well, I
program,
did
right?
two of the 3 month programs. So it was 6 months
Okay,
of it and it was 5 days a week of each. But again, not focused on this, but it was
correct. Building
definitely
a
had
lot
me
of
in a
strength and
endurance
endurance.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's kind of what our training looked like going into it. And that is just in addition to our real lives and our busy schedule. We run a business. We work in the office 4 days a week. The days that we're not in the office, we are with the kids. We're traveling. We're going to different business events. We homeschool the kids. We're managing a lot. So we don't have the luxury of necessarily always saying, like, hey, I'm going to go work out for 2 hours a day. It gets fit in because of the level of dedication. And a lot of times that looks like us in the gym, in our garage gym at 11 o'clock at night and just fitting it in. We are not morning people, we're night owls. So we are really fitting in the workouts around our life and trying to prioritize them as much as we can. And I would say for both of us, health and fitness is something that we just genuinely love. It makes us feel great. And we also really want to be good role models
Right.
for our kids. And that was a really cool part of this too, is having the boys out in the garage with us, having them go on runs with us, seeing them do push-ups and burpees and hop on the rower and just showing them what it looks like to prioritize your health was really special. And they were at the event too, so they got to cheer us on. And that was really awesome as well. But back to the event, I think people probably overestimate and underestimate how ready they need to be for doing something like this. And we went back and forth and we were, I would say, pretty unsure about what to expect.
Well, I think anyone can get out there and probably get it done. I think it really just depends on what your goal is. Is it just finishing or is it a certain time? Because I know when we first looked into it and saw people's times, we just assumed everyone was running it extremely fast. When once we realized we were there, our original goal of sub 130 with minimal training, especially on those specific workouts, was not achievable at all.
Yes. And so our goal became sub 145. And also, for a little more background and context, out of the 8 exercises, there were 4 of them that we had never done before until competition day,
10 minutes before we started.
which is wild. We touched them in warm-ups, and that was the first time ever. So we went to the event. We competed on a Saturday. We went on Friday night, and we saw the pro divisions competing, which was wild. These people, I've never seen so many jacked, shredded, fit people in my life. It made me feel really frumpy, which is just funny because Steve and I, we love admiring and appreciating hardworking, fit people. And it was so cool to be surrounded by people of all different levels of fitness, but really seeing the pro division was so inspiring. And also, it was tough because I was inspired and had to remember that you cannot compare yourself to other people, especially because this race, we weren't competing against
Right.
other people. We were competing against the clock. We were doing it for ourselves. It wasn't to win a medal or a trophy. It was just to push ourselves to the edge, to really show what we are capable of, to try something new, to choose to do something hard and different. And so the morning of, especially, I really had to focus on releasing comparison and pressure also that I was putting on myself of trying to hit a goal that was probably unrealistic for the level of training we had put in. And it can just be, it can feel a little overwhelming
Well,
in
it's so
that event
difficult.
center.
Yeah, right. And yes, the vibes there are unbelievable. It was exhausting even being there for 2 hours the day before watching. But every time someone finishes, the big clock says exactly their time, where they're from, their names, there's penalties, there are all these things. So it's kind of, as much as you don't want to focus on time, it's such a big part of it. There's clocks everywhere, there's finishing times everywhere. Everyone's taking a picture with their time. So as much as you don't want to focus on it, it's still a race and you're going to finish. So it's like, no matter what, there is a time.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting for us because our goal was to finish and we also felt pressure to make sure that we did it in a time that we were proud
Right,
of.
right.
And it wasn't for other people to be proud of, but it was we want to go in and do our best. And we didn't really know what that would look like until we were in it. And while we were in it, we were constantly communicating and adapting and shifting kind of our intentions and our goals as we were going. I want to touch on that morning of the event a little bit, and then we will dive into the breakdown of the event. I would say the morning of, I had so many more nerves and anticipation than I would have expected. The night before, checking out the event and just seeing the flow and the setup was so fun, and I was so inspired. And then it also made me feel anxious and
Mhm.
nervous. And the morning of, we really wanted to and planned on prioritizing our nutrition and fueling our bodies to get ready to race. And I was sick to my stomach. I couldn't even eat. I mean, I was sick. I had some fruit, and I think that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. What did you feel the morning of?
Went to bed at 1, couldn't sleep, woke up at 6 with Coop, had a banana, and I don't think I touched another food until we went to breakfast with your family, probably 2.5 hours before. So right around noon, I had another
Piece of
banana and a
toast.
piece of toast with
Yeah.
a little peanut butter, whatever I could get down. But I was more anxious and just, I was excited to see what you could do. I told you this before, I get more nervous for you than I do for myself.
Yeah, which is a funny thing because with doing it with somebody that you're in a relationship with, for me, there was a different sort of pressure. And it wasn't pressure that you were putting on me, it was pressure that I was putting on myself because I didn't want to let you down and I wanted to make you proud. And it's also an interesting thing when you're navigating different levels of fitness because Steve is a very superior athlete. And I love that about him. It's something that attracted me to you from the start. And also, I can't compare myself
Right.
to you because that's not me. And so the whole time, just wanted to do my best because I wanted you to feel proud and I didn't want to hold you back. And that was the biggest thing. Because when you see somebody running 25 miles a week and you're around that constantly and getting 28,000 steps a day, you are so much more active than I am, that my goal was just to do my best so I could be proud of me and I wanted you to feel proud of me. And so that was really my intention going in. And I knew at the starting line that that was my goal, was just to be proud, to give it all I had, to show up and give it my best and just be really grateful that we got to do it together. And through all of life's circumstances, to be able to do this together and have a common goal, I think was really great for us
Yeah,
over
I
the
think it
last
was
five
cool.
months
Yeah, no
too.
doubt, leading up to it. But I think the nerves kind of went away from me for you when we got to that sled push in the warm up area. And I realized, like, oh man, I'm nervous. I won't even be able to move this now.
Yeah. So let's dive into the actual race. So we're going to walk through it step by step.
Cool.
So let's break down. The HYROX is 8 kilometers of running, which really is underestimating it
Well, it's eight
because
1 kilometer runs, and then there's extra. So
yeah,
realistically, you come out to about 10 kilometers total of running, and then all the extra movement. So I think it was about 7 miles total of movement as a whole, with
yes.
the 8 workouts mixed into it as well.
Especially because during stations, you're running back and forth.
Right.
There's something called the ROX zone where you're running in and out to get to the different stations. So there's a lot of running. It is constant movement. And that was our goal, was we will never walk a run. So that was the thing, is on the runs, we just keep moving, just keep going. We will not walk in a run. And we did not walk in a run.
That. Yeah, we succeeded there for sure.
Which was a great thing. So how did you feel out of the gate? Because you're in that starting area, in the Red Bull starting zone with all these people. It's hype. The MC is hyping you up. Everyone's clapping and cheering. Let's start there.
I think before we even got to the warm-up area, and we don't really warm up as a whole. We're not good at that.
We were in there for 5 minutes and we barely did anything.
We touched the equipment that we haven't touched before, ever, for the first time, which kind of helped. I don't really know. It helped with some of the workouts, not the others. And then you get into this big tent with 100 other people, some that are elite at this, us, and honestly, majority of us first time.
First time, yeah.
And you're getting hyped, and you want to get hyped, but you also don't want your heart rate to skyrocket and your adrenaline to blow you out of the gate. And all of a sudden you do the first lap and you're exhausted already.
Yeah.
I think I said to you multiple times, like, deep breath. Let's hold on.
Yeah, because I was jumping around. Like, I get hyped.
Run out before it even started.
I am a very easily excitable, overly excited person. So I'm like bouncing on my toes, and Steve just like steady breathing. And then we got started. The first run was a little bit longer than the others. It was about 2.5 laps compared to just 2. How did you feel like we did pacing on the first lap?
I think my watch was wrong the entire time. I think as a whole, though, looking back at it, our pacing was perfect for the race we wanted to run.
Yeah. And then after the first run, we went into the SkiErg, which is something that we had never done before. We touched the ropes for like 15 seconds each.
Did you touch it beforehand?
I did. In the warm-ups, I did. I touched it. I pulled it down. I was like, all right, I can pull it. We're good. So first station was SkiErg, and Steve was crushing the SkiErg. So I had to keep reminding him, like, pace it, baby. Slow it down.
I thought he was hyping me up.
And I was. You were crushing it. But I was like, he is flying. You could just see his whole body whipping through it. And also because we had never done it before, we'd watched a lot of videos on forums. So I was like, drive back with your hips more. So I was trying to kind of help you through the movement, but really the pacing, because you were flying.
Well, I think I saw so many posts saying, don't go too hard out of the gate with the ski. And we practiced, and I was like, man, this is easy.
Yeah.
This will be easy. It's not using my legs at all. There's nothing. And we finished that. And I was like, my upper body's destroyed already.
Yeah. So after we finished the SkiErg, do you remember the times? Do you have the times? We can touch on that. So
I think it was about right around 5 minutes for the row and the ski. So
we split the SkiErg. What would you say the percentage of our splits were for SkiErg?
I think we did. It's 1,000 meters. So I did 300. You did 400. I did 300. I think is how it
Awesome.
worked.
So that was how we split that up. So it was 1,000 meters of the SkiErg movement. We split that up really well. And when we left that station, I was like, whoa, we got on our second run. And I was like, yeah, the SkiErg is underestimated, because it's a lot of driving back through your legs and hips and a lot of upper body mobility. So a lot of movement with the arms and a lot of core work. And honestly, I was gassed after that one. I was like, whoa, you will probably hear me say I was gassed multiple times, because I felt like I was gassed after every station. So our first run we did in
7:34.
And then the SkiErg we did in 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Our second run was our fastest run. We did that run in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And then we were on to the sled push. We have never pushed a sled before. So the sled was really unknown, because station 2 was the sled push. Station 3 was the sled pull. Sled push, I liked. I liked push.
Was substantially easier than the pull.
Yes. And we crushed out the sled push. We did the sled push station in 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And how far was the sled push?
It was 50 meters. We split it. I did one full one full and a half, because you said get it started, Fiona. And then you did half. I think I did about 3 of the lengths. You did 1 of them.
Okay.
In total. But we did that in 2:38, and I feel like we crushed that. But again, I think it was again a
We
little too
crushed
hot.
them. We came out hot on that one. And then we went into run three. Run three we did in 7 minutes and 16 seconds. And then we got to sled pull, and sled pull was tough. That is a big movement. Essentially, you grab the rope, take the slack out of it, which is a lot of the movement too, just getting the slack out of the rope, sit back in a deep squat while you're leaning forward. Then you lean back and you walk backwards with it. And that was tough. Sled. Okay, let me also give some context. With mixed doubles, we are doing the men's open weights. So even though I'm a woman, we were pushing men's weights.
Yep.
So the sled push was how many pounds?
Sled push was 335, and then the pull was 225.
Okay. And pulling the 225 felt way harder than pushing 335. We still did it well. This is an area where I would say for next race, we will focus a lot more on is sleds, specifically the pull. We did the sled pull in 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And I would say the split for us on that was probably about 80-20. You probably did about 80% of the pull. I probably did 20%. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, and then you sprinted out of that one.
Yes. And then because he had done more, I got more rest. And so that's also an interesting thing with navigating doubles is when one person's doing more, the other person is resting. So then we went into run four. We did run four in 7 minutes and 19 seconds. And then we went into burpee broad jumps. I had been pumped for burpees for weeks. I thought that was a station that I could really dominate for us. And I was so tired by that point already from the runs and then doing 3 movements that we had never done before. That was just felt very unknown to my body. And I think that's how my body felt. That when I watched the video back, when we switched off for the first time, I went down to a plank. I didn't even hit the floor. I think I blacked out during that period of time. And I was like, what do I do? I stood up from the broad jumps and I was dizzy. It was just, it had already been a lot on the body at that point. We still did them really well. We did them in 4 minutes and 38 seconds. And I would say that I probably did about 35% and you did about 65.
I think what was tough, again, the first 3 exercises we had never done. So we were efficient with 2 of them. I think the pull, we could definitely gain a lot of time. But the technique was not there. Mm-hmm. So we were using every muscle in our body, which exhausted everything. So coming into that burpees, which we knew were going to be tough, Steph was a little
overconfident.
Yeah. And I remember we were about to come back into the workout and I was like, hey, you get to your favorite station now. And I'm pretty sure I still started that because you were kind of over
it. Was not my favorite station. It was not. So we did the burpees in 4 minutes and 38 seconds, and we went on to run 5. And after burpees, all of the rest of the movements were familiar until wall balls at the end. So run 5, we did in 7 minutes, 27 seconds. Then we went into the row. We split the row really well. We felt pretty good on the row. We could do that faster, I think for sure. I didn't give it my all. I was trying to just make sure I could pace it too, so we could finish strong for the rest, because the rest of the movements were a lot of upper body heavy movements too. So we did the row in 5 minutes and 12 seconds. What were the percentage splits, would you say, for row?
I think we split that about every 2 to 250 meters.
Actually, and I finished that one. So that one was probably about a 50-50 split. It was 1,000 meters. So we each rode about 500.
We definitely took our time on that, which you can tell on the time of it. But we knew farmer's carry was coming up, and that's a quick one. Farmer's carry after the next run is the quickest workout you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a rest on that. So the row is the first time you can sit down the entire time.
And it felt so good to sit.
No doubt. And then you know you're going to get into the next exercise, which is going to be really, really quick. And you're going to be right into your next run after that. So it's almost like 2 runs back to back with the farmer's carry in between. So
right. And so then we went into run 6, which we did in 7 minutes and 21 seconds. And then we got to farmer's carry. And Steve crushed farmer's carry. So with farmer's carry, it was
53 pounds each.
53 pounds in each hand. So a total of 106 pounds. We did that station in 1 minute and 37 seconds. Steve grabbed those kettlebells and just started flying. And it's like the TikToks that I've seen of the guy who takes the kettlebells and just starts running, and you're like chasing, the woman is chasing after him. That was basically what happened. He was whipping through that station. He crushed it. He did so good. We switched off once. Yep. I took the middle portion and I was moving too. We moved quick. I would say farmer's carry for both of us were pretty dominant in. I could have done way more in that station, but Steve really bought us some time, which I was impressed because we've done farmer's carry at home. We have that weight of kettlebell, so that was familiar to us, but we've never done it on a loop or on a flat surface.
Right.
And we freaking crushed
We
that
did.
station. So I was really proud of that. 137 for farmer's carry. Then we went into run 7, which was 7:11. And this was the point in time where I was counting down how many laps were left. So run 7, we had 4
Four to go.
laps left to run because each run was 2 laps. And this was the time where we started to really realize that we could break 145 if we kept our pace and really finished strong. And that was something that was important to us. We had been moving really well. We'd been pacing really stable and solid. Our strength was doing good. Things were hard, but especially I would say in the second half, because the first half was so many new exercises and movements to us, it was kind of a shock to the system. In the second half, the runs became our recovery zones. That's where our heart rate was actually regulating, was during the runs, because during the stations, we were just going so all out. So run 7, we paced well. We bought back some time compared to the last couple runs. We did 7:11, and then we went into the sandbag lunge. And this was a 20-kilogram sandbag, so about 45 pounds. And you dominated this one again. Steve told me on the run after this that he blacked out, which is funny because it was the cleanest lunges I've ever seen. They were strong, they were solid, knees hit the floor, back upright. They looked so
Well, I thought
good.
this was funny because when we went the night before, it's a down and back for the lunges, and there is a fence right in the middle. And I remember Steph saying, I would hate to be against the fence. So we come up to the lunges, I grab the sandbag, toss on my neck, and the judge throws us over to the inner aisle with the gate. And I was like, uh-oh. So I just busted out, I think 25 or 26 of them.
Yep.
I was like, all right, you can get going now. And she crushed out a bunch. And then I think I just blacked out a couple times when you handed me that. And then it was done. It was
I think
quick.
we swapped out 2 or 3 times maybe. I feel like I was doing sets. My goal was to do sets of 10, which looking back, we probably crushed out way more at a time than we needed to. But at that point, we just kind of wanted to get through it. I was nervous about lunges. I had told Steve in the run prior to this that I was a little nervous about the next 2 movements because my legs were just really tired. I had not run that much in, I don't know, somewhere between 6 to 10 years. Yeah. And so my legs were starting to feel a little heavy, and I have sensitive knees, and you have to hit the ground. Your knee has to touch the ground with a lunge or it doesn't count. So I was just a little nervous. And because I really hadn't practiced much with that weight, I've maybe done 30 to 50 reps with the sandbags in training prior. So I was just a little nervous, but honestly, I was really happy. My emotions were slow and controlled.
They were slow and they were gentle.
They were slow and they were gentle, but I have the bruises to prove that my knees hit the ground. And I was really proud, especially at that point, to be able to carry that weight and do clean reps, because that was my goal. Just make them count, do them controlled. It didn't matter really about speed. I just wanted them to be super clean and efficient, and really to be giving you a break at that point in time so you could kind of regulate while I did.
As soon as we started the lunges, though, my knee hit the ground on the very first one, and I was like, "Oh no!"
See, you gotta go slower like me.
Yeah. And then I was concerned about you and your kneecaps, your sensitive kneecaps. So then it was kind of just get as much as we can done and get on to the last run, because then we're pretty much done.
Right. What did your legs feel like by this point?
That's interesting because I don't really remember. I remember the lunges.
Yeah, because you blacked out.
No, I remember starting the lunges and thinking my hamstring was going to tear off.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I think you're so close to being done. It's kind of like when we finished the burpees, we were halfway. So there's almost, I think the only time I felt like this is going to never end was after, it was probably sled push or sled pull, maybe pull, because that was harder, and thinking, wow, we have a lot left.
Yeah.
But I think once we got to halfway, we hyped up that we finished the burpees and we were halfway. And then once we got to lunges, we had one more run.
Right.
One more run, no matter what. And then just the wall ball has to get tossed up there a bunch.
Yeah. Run 8, our final run after lunges, was a 7:18 pace. Our runs were so consistent. I'm really proud of that. And during that run is when Steve goes, I think I blacked out on lunges. I really don't remember any of it, which was funny. And for me, I was just counting laps. I'm like, man, only 2 more. We're just going to push. And we really just had the perspective like we can hit sub 145. Like we are on pace for that. We can do this. And I think that was really encouraging because I knew that if we did that, that feeling of accomplishment and of feeling proud, I knew we would have if we did that.
I only looked at the clock twice. I remember we were at halfway, we were at 51 minutes. And then I was like, oh, like 130 is insane. And then I realized we had to kind of just double what we just did on tired legs to break 145. The only other time I truly looked at the clock and realized where we were at was that realistically the second lap on run 8 when I was like, oh, we have 11 minutes and we still have one full lap. And then we got to do 100 wall balls.
Yeah.
And get across that line standing up.
Take me through the last station, which was wall balls. And we've never done wall balls before. First time we threw a wall ball at the actual wall with the sensor that they use was in warm-ups. So walk me through that station.
You want me to walk you through it?
Yeah,
Or
you go. You take it away.
So we get there. I think I ran the wrong way at first when we got in there too.
Maybe.
Who knows? Grab the ball. The ball was we have a wall ball at the house, but it's brand new. It has grip. It had all this stuff. Grab that ball and it was slippery.
Yeah.
And you're already dripping sweat. Everything's sore. Everything hurts. And then I looked up at the sensor and it seemed really high.
Yeah.
So I think I threw the first 15, missed probably 3 or 4, or it hit the sensor on the bottom where Steph had to throw it at.
So
or I just straight up missed it.
Yes. The wall ball's 14 pounds. Men have to throw it 10 feet. Women have to throw it 9 feet.
And right in the middle of, what would you call that?
It's like a little
metal
board, and in the middle of the square board is a sensor, and you have to hit it directly on the sensor. And so that was my issue. I had the height. I was throwing it the 9 feet. It was perfectly placed in terms of height, but I was having trouble because I didn't have the form and technique down. That feeling like I was standing underneath it was tough. The ball was sweaty. I was getting the height, but I wasn't able to make contact with the sensor. And so I probably threw between 25 and 30 balls and maybe 10 to 15 hit.
Yeah.
So I was discouraged at this point because I felt like I wasn't contributing and I just really wanted to finish strong. And also this just goes to show that in general, your level of preparation comes through in these moments. You never rise to the level of the expectation, right? You fall the level of your training and what you've done to prepare yourself. And that was the case for this. So wall balls are my arch nemesis now. And it is the thing that I will be working on most because I just was not proud of how I performed on that station, but Steve crushed it. So if I had between maybe 10 to 15 that hit, Steve did all the rest. So you probably had about 90 wall balls.
I think I missed about 10 of them. So I did about 100, 90 counted. You did about 25, 10 counted.
Yeah.
But there's a judge right next to you. You have to go below 90 degrees on your squat, and then you have to come up and you have to hit the right sensor. It has to do all that. So there was multiple times I threw the ball up, but it hit the bottom sensor. So then the number goes up, and then he decreases it. And you're like, ah. So it's one of those things where, yeah, you would hop in, you'd give me a little break, a couple of them would count, you'd be all pissed off. You go all grumpy underneath.
Dropped a couple F-bombs.
And then I think finally we got to 78. And I remember there's a video of it, but me going back out to the wall ball and I looked at my watch and I think we had 2 minutes left. And that was 2 minutes to finish 22 more of them and run over, get dragged over to the finish line. And I did all those 22 straight. And the next thing you know, Steph's sprinting to the finish line, and I'm kind of just...
I grabbed your hand and pulled you along because I knew we were going to be close. I had no idea where you were at with the rep count for the wall balls because the partner not throwing can't see the rep count. So I didn't know where we were at. I just knew that we needed to get across that line as fast as possible and that we were so close to hitting our goal that I didn't want us to miss it by 2 seconds or 1 second and be really disappointed. So we crossed the finish line. It was the best feeling of accomplishment just to be done. The pictures are hysterical because I'm overjoyed and Steve is so gassed because he just crushed out that whole station and basically I rested most of the time. And so we crossed the finish line and it was just such a huge feeling of pride and accomplishment that we did it because really all along, there were mental battles for me that were taking place throughout the whole thing. You're pushing your body to a point that you really never have before. This was all new for us. I had to mentally talk myself in and out of things quite a bit. There was a lot of reflection that was happening during the runs, a lot of speaking life and encouraging words to myself. And it was really a mental race too. Do you have any specific moments that you were really navigating that throughout it? Or what was kind of the thought process for you?
for the whole thing.
Like what kept you going? Were there any things you had to kind of talk yourself through? Any big learning moments throughout it?
I think as a whole, I think I underestimated how difficult the whole thing would be. I think I expected, because the runs would be a slower pace for me, that it would allow me to recover so much easier. But I think not ever touching a lot of those equipments before we even got there was difficult because we don't know technique. We don't know. I mean, I tried 3 different sled push techniques before we started in one length, and that was all we touched. So it's,
Right.
but I think focusing on making sure you're keeping, and again, I think our running pace was extremely consistent, and you did a great job at that. But it's also, did we want to push harder? Did we not? Like, it was a very comfortable situation, and your heart rate was always high. So also
Yeah.
that was something we had to monitor. So it was kind of a battle of course, physical and mental and emotional, but also keeping your heart rate low enough to be able to keep running and do some of those exercises as well.
There was no such thing as low enough. I was in zone 5. I was sitting at an average of 188 heart rate the whole time. I hit 199. So I was trying to talk myself out of like, Steph, you cannot have a heart attack right now. This is not an appropriate place to do that.
There was enough medical staff.
There were. But I think besides the race itself, besides the physical part, it was so powerful and special for me to have the kids there watching. We just, for us, we want to be role models for them. We want to show them what it looks like to have parents who push themselves, who never quit, who never give up, who choose to do hard things. It was really special to have my parents there with them. They were taking videos, they were cheering us on. During rows, we looked up and our friend Dr. Anthony was there cheering us on. And he followed us through that second half of the race. And that was really special. So I think there was a lot of big takeaways outside of just the physical part, but
I think with the kids as a whole, it's, you know, how many times they go out to run and Coop has to join or go out to the garage to work out, and they're out there doing farmers carries with whatever they can find, or just want to do pull-ups. We were at the HYROX and there was a pull-up bar and Coop wanted to do pull-ups, and
Yeah.
it's cool, and just how excited. Grayson took a nap mid HYROX, but how excited they are to see us do stuff, and they want high fives and they're screaming, and it's really, really cool for sure.
yeah, it's so special. And that's the thing, is it's more than a race. The things you choose to do, especially when you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, it carries over into every aspect of your life. It's life, it's parenting, it's business, it's relationships. I mean, this was absolutely a relationship boost for
Yeah.
us in a lot of ways, to have a goal that we were working on together. Even during the race itself, we were working on our communication. We did so well with our communication. We were speaking life into each other. It was encouraging. It was uplifting. There was never, not one single time, any negative word said to each other at all. It was constantly cheering each other on, supporting each other, hyping each other up. So many nucks, so many let's fucking goes. I mean, it was just constant support and motivation and encouragement. And that's really special as a couple. So individually for both of us to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment, but really together.
It's really
was
the first
huge.
thing that we've done together. Runs, we've done runs together. You've been there to watch runs. You've watched me with baseball, but it was really the first thing that we've done besides business. First exercise thing we've done together that had, you know, we had a common goal to do it together and the whole thing together. So it was really fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It wasn't just a race. It was so much more than that. For me, it hit on every level: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It was a really powerful thing to experience. And we will do it again.
Yeah, Tampa.
Tampa in October is our next goal. So we will kind of regroup and reframe. We're feeling pretty good a few days out. We're not in pain. We're a little stiff and sore just from using different muscles. Maybe Steve's a little in pain. I don't know. He's giving me the eyes, but I feel pretty good. So I guess that means there's more that I could give. But Tampa's going to be in October, and we'll train a little bit different. We'll set new goals, but we'll just enjoy it all over again.
Yeah, we'll touch the actual equipment this time.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So for all of you who have something that's on your heart, or if you just get a wild hair and you decide you want to do something new and different that you've never done before, don't overthink it. Don't question it. Trust in the capability of your mind and your body and your soul. Don't wait to feel ready. This is your reminder that you probably already are, and you are capable beyond what you can even imagine. So go out there, chase your dreams, find somebody who supports you and encourages you, and do something together, and you will have the absolute best time of your life.
No doubt.
Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Evolve Your Life. We hope you have an amazing, amazing week. You are capable and worthy of it all, and we will see you back here soon. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Evolve Your Life. If this episode inspired you, leave a review, share it with a friend, follow so you never miss a moment, and come connect with me on Instagram at Dr. Stefanie Ascher. Until next time, keep evolving your life boldly, beautifully, and unapologetically.